Welcome back, everyone. This is StatisFlix, Data for Movies. I'm Elizabeth, an actor, a data scientist, and your host, and each week I take a different movie and analyze its female characters on our metric this season, the FemmeMeter. This week it is out with the old and in with the new, except the new is almost the same as the old. Maybe worse. So maybe not. We'll see. I'm introducing a new concept for today's episode, the Battle of the Generations. I'll take a movie that's been recently remade and see how its original female characters match up against its remade female characters. In statistical terms, we're essentially doing an observational study on how time affects a character's score, controlling for character, story, and production team. Today's movie was originally made in 1992 and recently remade in 2019. Today's movie is Aladdin, and we're focusing on Jasmine, played by Linda Larkin in 1992, who scores a 53, and Naomi Scott in 2019, who scores a 58. Right off the bat, these are two bummer scores. Anything below 60 is considered in the yikes category for StatisFlix, but having both the original and the remake score so poorly is just hurtful. What's interesting though is that these characters score the way that they do for different reasons, something that I had kind of hoped to see for the sake of intrigue, but didn't expect to see so drastically. In 1992 Aladdin, Jasmine faces the typical flaws of early 90s Disney, mainly the utter and complete lack of female representation. Unless you count Raja, Jasmine doesn't come into contact with a single other woman throughout the movie. And sure, she's a princess who spent her life locked in the palace, but where is her mother? Her servants? Ladies of the court? Anyone? Nope. And it costs her 20 points on the Bechdel test. In 2019 Aladdin, on the other hand, Jasmine has a female friend, Dahlia, who, despite having minimal plot importance, at the very least allows Jasmine to pass the Bechdel test. Also, Jasmine at the end of the movie is appointed Sultana by her father. Yay! Female empowerment and female representation in leadership. But with all the things that 2019 Jasmine does right, why does she still score so low? And how in the world did 1992 Jasmine catch up to her? The answer, like in many of my episodes, boils down to agency and plot points. Both of our Jasmines are victims of the damsels in distress trope, meaning that regardless, their scores are going to be low. The difference is that 1992 Jasmine utilizes her power and boosts her agency score, and 2019 Jasmine doesn't. There are multiple points of agency in the 1992 version that are missing in 2019. For example, this scene, when Jasmine attempts to seduce Jafar in order to help Aladdin steal back Genie. It's instead replaced by this scene, where Jasmine sings that she will no longer be silent, and compels the guards to fight on her behalf. These scenes are both supposed to be displays of power, and you would think that the speech scene would be more powerful than the seduction scene, but actually, not so. Even though the seduction scene feels anti-feminist and gross, it actually does a lot for Jasmine's agency. The speech scene doesn't get a 5 out of 5 because it's not specific to Jasmine's character, meaning it doesn't pass our final threshold. You could take that monologue and give it to anyone else in the script, and it would result in the exact same plot movement as if she said it. The same cannot be said for the seduction scene. Only Jasmine can do it, and if she doesn't, the plot falls apart. It's weird. At face value, of course you wouldn't think the seduction scene is progressive. Women using their feminine wiles to trick men? How objectifying! And technically, yes, it is. But for a woman in a story where her only power is through her femininity, this quick thinking move is actually kind of awesome. My point is this: power and agency can come in many different forms. Make sure to give credit where credit is due. So, to recap, 1992 Jasmine, played by Linda Larkin, scores a 53, and 2019 Jasmine, played by Naomi Scott, scores a 58. One more thing before we go. I kind of feel like 2019 Aladdin should get some credit for the fact that Jasmine is actually played by a person of color, which is not the case in 1992. Technically, this is not part of the FemmeMeter, but I felt like it should be noted. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe with notifications to help out a small creator. See you next time.